Ghana betum pon na Ghana beyeye na emfasodie ebefi Ghana mu aba ama enchirima enye bi enti ena Kantanka television daneda ye bo dewro efa enema pa ewo oman Ghana mu ene ye ne opanyi bi eba betwetwe nkomo senka eba na bibrim ase dia anka won free ha nanso watse enema pa a ekoso ewa bibrim enkanka oman Ghana mu enti wotutu anamon abahasi enti abusiafo meka ne say up close with His Excellency Ambassador Brigadier General Chief Dr. Wallace W. Williams, Honorable Consul General of Antigua and Barbuda to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And ane menene ba betwetwe nkomo no. Ti wadaroma benko babia ubuso ehwe Kantanka television. Idinde abinache boache. Beguswa eda hwefo nyina se se de medi kan ekasaye ewo me intro no no His Excellency Wallace and amenene ba betwetwe nkomo twetwe ne koso na obuzemeka doctor mepacho eno so eka abudini ne ho bi nti aya na wo hye ne so sa ede amami Dr. Wallace, you welcome.
What to say?
Me ho ye Bibi said Dr. Wallace say akwaba no bisa me what to say in a local dialect, meaning how are you? Abusiafo enkomotwetwe na ebekoso no yebeka ewo yakan kasem na say local dialect no, but Dr. Wallace enti yebepoto ewo poto kasem na enkomotwetwe ne ko enim na so mebo me homoden na macheche mu ewo twi said ebe ya won so obetimi atibi ase. Okay, Dr. Wallace, how would you describe Antigua and Barbuda relationship with Africa over the years, you know, then
right.
and now?
Yeah. Well, as I was saying, Antigua and Barbuda has been forging ties with Africa, you know, earlier in the past 12, 13 years when I was able to take the president of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo, to Antigua, where they were able to help Nigeria garner votes for the UN Security Council as observer status. So 11 OECS countries, which is the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, helped Nigeria to gain that observer status by getting, you know, the Caribbean states in the Eastern Caribbean to help Nigeria. And thereafter, the government of Antigua and Barbuda has been looking towards Africa in general, whether it's Ghana, Nigeria, West Africa, Kenya, the entire continent as bigger brother to develop, you know, relationships and South-South collaboration. Why, after President Obasanjo left Antigua and Barbuda, he at the time was chairman of the African Union. And it is from that singular visit and an achievement, I must say, that came out of my efforts and initiative, that the Caribbean became the 6th region of the African Union.
Wow. Then congratulations on that.
Thank you. So since then, as a you know, very passionate Pan-Africanist, I have been pushing as much as possible to bring the Caribbean, especially Antigua and Barbuda, to collaborate and get, you know, South-South relationships being firmly established and a relationship that would last very long. And now with the initiative from Kantanka group, which an expression of interest was signed by the group CEO, Kwadwo Safo, right? We are now taking Kantanka to Antigua.
Wow.
He has already given his permission for us to incorporate the company, Kantanka Antigua, in Antigua and for the Caribbean. so that the automobiles can take advantage of the near markets of the Caribbean, South and North America, and the world, because Antigua has trade treaties around the world. And with an Antiguan product of an assembly line of Kantanka, that is absolutely fantastic.
Okay. Let's look at, before every nation can, scout for business opportunities and all that, then there should be a solid economy.
Yeah.
How would you describe Antigua and Barbuda economy, the performance?
Right. Well, the economy, the Prime Minister has been doing very well. The country has been leading a lot in terms of revenue generating and foreign direct investment. We are a tourist-based economy, but also Antigua is offering citizenship by investment.
Okay.
They are promoting that because that's also foreign direct investment. And that has been going very well. Quite a lot of people are taking advantage of that, so they can build hotels, they can invest in the National Development Fund, they can invest in the University Fund, which is the University of the West Indies Antigua campus. There's opportunities in the oil storage tanks that we have that provide diesel for the cruise ships,
Okay.
etc., and for the country, and for the rest of the Caribbean.
Okay.
And of course, there are other government-approved projects. So the economy is very robust. The Prime Minister is a banker. He has 16 years experience in Swiss banking and about 6 years in regional banking. That is background. Okay. So he is business-minded, very entrepreneurial in his outlook. He says he wants to make...
In the economy, in the petroleum, based on the things you are mentioning. That's
yeah.
He's so particular with the energy.
Yeah, he's interested in making Antigua the singular green island of the Caribbean. Wow. He has gotten rid of, plastic bottles and plastic bags, cannot be emptied on the streets or in the sea, etc. So that he has a very clean, and he's on to green energy as well. He's a very green energy oriented person. He also says he wants to make, Antigua the Dubai of the Caribbean, which is a financial capital in the Caribbean, which is an attractive tourist destination for the rest of the world. It already is, and he also wants to pioneer, investment from Africa. We are looking at opening up a direct route between Africa and Antigua as one of the prime movers to bring Africans to the Caribbean. Instead of you going to, the rest of the world, you go to where your brothers are and help improve the same economy you are talking about. So the economy is very robust. I mean, he has done a lot with regards to removing a lot of taxes for the locals to be able to be empowered and become, self-starters and entrepreneurs themselves. So he has a vision for the citizenry. And of course, with regards to investment, he's given a lot of concessions, 25 to 30 years, tax-free concessions, opening up in the free trade zone, bringing your equipment in free of charge to start your business, your workers, giving them, exempt permits, etc., to work during the period of time that you are being established. So he has a very strong focus as to where he wants to place Antigua in the World Committee of Nations and also to lead the Caribbean. Okay.
Now back to the question of your relationship with Antigua and Kantanka. You were talking about it. Right. But before you even go in there, I could see the passion that the passion in you talking about the project you're about to embark on. What actually triggered this, passion?
Well, like I've said, I've spent 45 years on the continent, developing many, what I call collaborative visits to the Caribbean, and both military, economically, trade, etc. And as a young anti-apartheid activist in 1977. I performed at Festac as an anti-apartheid, evangelist, singing music and poetry on supporting Zimbabwe, South Africa, MPLA, and all the other freedom fighter movements. We have always been, as Caribbean people, very, very strongly attached to the motherland. Why? Because slavery separated us. Having separated us, we were devoid of our culture, like our language, our food, our religion, things that we had as our own. And having seen that happening.
So, sorry to come in. Talking about devoiding you of your, pure culture.
Yes.
And that is your heritage.
That's your heritage.
Yes. So, do you have a specific language you speak?
For myself.
No,
no, the Caribbean still have been under the colonial cultures that even Africa has had. So the English, the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese, they have all, dominated the Caribbean islands and the slaves with their languages and their culture. However, many people who began to open their eyes realized that we can't get anywhere without, going back to our roots. And that is why I commend, President Ado for his Operation Joseph. And I said it should not stop. 1 year, it should be an every year return, because right now we are looking at Africans to come back and make Africa great. Africans to come back, not just to its root, but come back and repopulate Africa. Come back and bring your technology, your skills, your investment back to Africa. Where you are in the rest of the world, you are not entirely welcome. We have seen it. I set up AFROCACY, which is Africans doing it for themselves, by themselves, African solutions to Africa problems, because when we inherited all these systems, democracy, presidential systems, socialism, communism, they're alien to our culture. So AFROCACY is more or less, our renaissance. I also set up African Development Goals Initiative, where Africa should not be talking about UN Security Council goals and SDGs. We must have our own ADGs, African Development Goals. 1 year, 1 year, 1 year health, 1 year food security, 1 year education, and we keep doing that and task all African presidents to agree to that. And that's where the African Union should be having that role, and they're not doing it.
Personally, I want your opinion on this, issue. Do you think the government of Ghana can do better by investing in Kantanka group of companies to make it way bigger than as it is now?
Of course, it's your own. And any government should be proud of their own. Patronize them, support them. This will make the company explode on the continent. Don't forget, we are now and have now started the African Free Trade Area, although I think it's a misstep because things are not in place yet in terms of legal frameworks, removal of the borders so Africans can travel between themselves without visas, and they can move by road or by air, and they are not restricted. The United States don't have that. European Union don't have that. You travel freely. And so if we really have to give credence to the African Free Trade Area, we must be able to move freely, goods and services and people. And therefore, to sustain, the African interest, we must now start to trade and empower our own communities. Now, the other thing that I want to congratulate Ghana for, and the president, is the one factory, one community, or one district, one district, one factory, one district, one warehouse. That model should be replicated all across the continent, because I have been preaching as the AFROCACY chairman, now I'm with a different hat, as the AFROCACY chairman, that I don't want our people from our communities to be wage earners. They must be shareholders. Why would you be allowing Chinese or this one or that one to come and remove your raw materials and send it back to you as a product, and you are paying pittance wages, even beating local Africans, etc., and dehumanizing them? No, there should be shareholders. So I will tell them to go one further. Apart from being one district, one factory, one district, one warehouse, you come, you bring your investment. When you bring your investment, you transfer technology, you train, and you agree a time limit when you will make your profit back on your investment and leave. And in the meantime, right, all that knowledge is transferred to the community. And whilst you are there, you are not paying them any salary or any wage. They are dividend shareholders. And that is one of the things we preached, myself and Professor Lumumba, when we went to Tanzania 2 weeks before President Magufuli passed. And we talked about local content, empowering the local miners, right, to be shareholders from the community rather than being paid wages and salaries. We are being enslaved, right? This is your community, your own property. You are being asked to get a wage and you get nothing else. Some of them don't have insurance. They degrade the environment. Those things have to stop. Sorry. So I will advise President Adu that he should make every community, that's part of his next steps, make them shareholders. So it's gold. You will come to mine gold, teach us gold mining, bring the equipment. The equipment stays with us after, train our people, and
Work with them.
and you work with them. That's local content. And that is what I have been waving a flag, throughout the continent. Local content empowerment. Go from whether you start at 10% and go right up till it becomes 100%. Local content has to be the way forward on the continent. Because if we don't do that, we will be encircled and we'll be depopulated and we will be moved away from our communities. I am a Pan-Africanist to the core, so I make no apologies where that is concerned.
Yes, on records, Kantanka Television is about to set an assembly plant in Antigua, which is going to make us a pace setter. Of course, it's so unquestionable because the founder and the leader of Kwadwo Safo, that has always been his mission. And he always preaches about, you have an idea and you can do it.
Yes.
You don't have to wait for people to do it for you.
When they tell you that, they will give you, they stop you from thinking. When we get to, what do? We have handouts. We go to the World Bank, IMF, China, etc., all gathered, and they go there and they sit down begging, please, please, because nobody is taking the initiative to do what they can. How many Africans in this digital age are doing things by themselves? Look at things that they've developed, M-Pesa, this, that. It's the brain power of the local African. Now, there's a study that's been hidden, and I'll send the name to you. There's a study on genetics, right? And I want to reveal this so that people know. There's a study on genetics that was done by an international set of scientists who have patented the study that they did. And they did from the orangutan. The orangutan was DNA 3. The gorilla, DNA 4. The chimpanzee, DNA 5. The rest of the world, DNA 6. Africans were DNA 9. We are the most intelligent people in the world. We are the most resourceful and resilient. And that is what they were hiding from us, that we can't do it ourselves. So we sit down and say, please, beg, come and do it for us. Please, I'll take a small money and I look after my own people and my own family, but have the rest. How could you be cutting timber from here? How could you be taking sand from here, cocoa from here, diamonds, gold, etc.? And you set the price abroad. You do the refining abroad and then send it back to us. as an end produce. And that is why also I have to congratulate the president again, that he stopped the cocoa problem that the rest of Africa has, which is export your raw material and buy back at high cost, you know, the finished product. No, I ate the chocolate here. It is beautiful. The chocolate that's produced in Ghana, by Ghana. I'm actually, before I forget, I need to buy some to take back with me. And that's what we need to bring the chocolate factory to Antigua as well. Why not? So that we have the near market to take advantage of. And I don't know if Kantanka is doing it, but you should get into chocolates. Get into chocolates and bring a chocolate factory into Antigua and into the Caribbean. Let's compete with the world. You know, we're not saying that nobody can trade, but let's trade fairly. You know, don't take advantage of. The time for that is over. Africa has woken up. The youths are waking up. 70% of the continent is our youths. And this is the future. And we have to empower them and imbibe them. The older guys who are in their 80s and want to hang on to power, they must go. They have to go. Allow the youths to continue the process because they have the brain power. We now need very young men to be entrepreneurs, to be business people, to be innovators. That's what we should be encouraging. We have so many innovators, and most of it is hidden. They buy out our innovation, call it their own, patent it, and sell it back to us. Yeah. That has to stop.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And as Doctor said, Kantanka group of companies can, you know, set up a factory of chocolate. We being the paysetters, this is not a big deal for Group CEO, and I believe Nana has heard this and he's going to work on it as well. That's how we are coming to, you know, we are bringing our conversation to a closure. Let us know the way forward.
The way forward is closer ties between the continent and Africans in the diaspora, the Caribbean and South and North America. It is the way forward. And it's the exchange of ideas, the exchange of knowledge, the exchange of investment, keeping the investment between the communities and making sure that we are not, if we are not careful, we are not allowing others to come and take advantage because we are begging, allowing them to come, put millstones around our necks. Why are we building stadiums? Why are we big elephant projects instead of having African development goals to take care of the health of Africans, genetic modified seeds, genetically modified mosquitoes? What is the agenda? What is the agenda? Depopulation of Africa. And we have to come out and talk about this and implement rules, regulations, and framework to stop that. You know, and what needs to happen now is that the AU, who is representing Africa, should be the one negotiating with these countries, whether it's China, India, wherever. They should be one, not the individual countries. What do? They target each individual country. They know that they're economically unstrong because there is no united Africa. Yeah. So they target every single one and then go to you and offer you deals. They offer you deals and then they tie you. Africa Union should have the brains of people like the head of the African Development Bank, others, sit down and negotiate on behalf of Africa, not the individual countries. Sure. And so with that, they have power, they can negotiate. And no contract should be signed in Chinese and you don't know what the hell you're signing, and other countries signing contracts that you don't examine. They just, give me, please, take them. What nonsense is that? Okay. Sorry. I'm unapologetic because, you know, we have to wake up. Yeah. And if we don't have people who are strong-willed people, and strong leaders, which is needed for the continent, we are just going to have people who are beggars. We're just going to have people who are going to be laughed at, right? And we will be going backwards instead of forward. What we need to do, let's take some examples from China, for example. Every single person in China is a member of the People's Liberation Army, not so? Then we should have Africa People's Liberation Army. In every community, you have citizens militia. These citizens militia should monitor what's happening in their community, report it, and stop it, right? That's a good example. Yeah. What did China do? Mao Zedong had a 50-year plan, Marshall Plan, of where China will be every 5 years. Let's have an African Marshall Plan, where we are going to be every 5 years. And they said what? The journey starts with the first step. So let's start the first step. Let's start to do African development goals year by year. year by year. You'll see how far we'll be in 10 years' time. And everybody signing to that. The African Union makes sure and ensure that it is African development goals, not UN or SDG. We don't want that 2063, 3,000. Where are you going to be? Will you be able to see any of the benefits of that? No. So let's have African development goals, and let's do it a yearly plan. That's our Marshall Plan. That should be our Marshall Plan. African development goals. 1 year, food security for all, organic. 1 year, not Monsanto or any of these idiots who are genetically modifying and wanting to own the seeds. Because once they own the seeds and tell you farmers can't own the seeds again, whatever they put in it is what is going to happen to you. And the main aim, there's no doubt about it, is the population. So we need to be careful. Watch the mosquito strains, the ones that are genetically modified. Watch the seeds, the ones that, and say no to them. Chemicals, fertilizers, say no to them. It's as simple as that. We must protect our race. We must protect our people. Everybody else is doing that for themselves, for their own benefit. And we must do that too. There's no ifs or buts about that.
Okay. Thank you so much, His Excellency Ambassador Brigadier General Chief Dr. Wallace W. Williams, Honorable Consul General of Antigua and Barbuda to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We say for and menene to train komono na His Excellency bra or kasano asamoa okaya edi chat so or say a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. And this quote goes for Africa as a whole. If we are able to take a step collectively, not as an individual, collectively, that is where we'll be able to achieve our aims and our goals. We won't sit down for people to come and then, adopt us and then inculcate things or force us to do things that we are not supposed to or things that we don't want to do. And come on, church na ekọ so no opoton sem bebre. Ye de come on church na bewe ye mame mo ne tofa emfa maye. Ye papa ye na twetwe nkomo ne nkomo twetwe anasa na sam nyina Africa eda na koma so yie pa. Se de be ya ye betimi enye nkitahudie papa ewo Africa. Ogina oma Africa nyina na mo ba be pie mu Ghana de. Nanso nkomo twetwe bi ekọ so between Kantanka group of companies ene Antigua Antigua Barbuda and say Ebekwa establish assembly plant ewo ehonomo ewo ye cars Kantanka automobiles enya no nko on say ono yenso ye project organic foods nti bi na no work na say ehonomo no sa Caribbeans nyina omo betimi ababe to eniema no nyina na project Africa na project Ghana eno pa na ade eda na koma so na no so ebebem say de kan say Kantanka de bia ye twa sa no na nipadom edi so esanse ekofare bai no nene so ade hu no sanso ena de odine sine nanso eye ne ba odine hu Kwadwo Safo Kantanka kofuna the first ono so wo se ni so ade hu no papa kasa wo bona ba so bebre se oyo onimdini wo ye panyini bia owo ni so ade hu no papa we kire se odi ne papa anamon echi inti kwa mwachoche ya koba yini nyina wonde etesa dia ompeti kra ye se we Africani na wode wo se broni nchechire wonsa no spoon feed won fa aduane nhye wonum adenti ne yetwa timba e we kuremu koko ene bauxite ene gold nyina na so ne nyina mu no yesan kɔ ne ekɔsrade ehu nyimfa so okasa ne kama twetwe no mu so no obo man panyine abaso say one district one factory no ehu hia pa esese itimi kɔso esese kɔyɛ ade se yaka ne keke nanso yenye se ye ma yetimi preserve ye niema ene betimi aboa ye na nei amanonefo yi sempo seed koko no ne ade na eba kombo na omo de abefo kwaso no mo ankasa ede ne nnuro bi ewurawura mu omo pese yankasa yebenya de organic seed no enti se omo no ne kita seed na se ni organic seed na meaning say de omo beye de abraye no e na yebedi no omo so supo e na omo ni so ade ho nyina na se omo bete ye dodo so enti se wote se o ka se depopulation na ni nyina no omo te ye dodo so enwu na just omo ntimi take over because omo ni mo ni amapa e wo ye mu wo so ye bibini enti na won ka se wonnim nimde wonimde papa na there's a hidden a discovery bi a aba ye ka DNA ye se binim de ye se eba Africa ye se de ye 9 meaning say we are very intelligent bia obroni betimi aye no ye no ye betimi aye ama na boro so se de Emeritus Apostle Kwadwo Safo Kantanka was say we a bibini o wo hono de tuntum nanso se bi wadwene ne de enye tuntum da wo nim de ese na kwasi broni entintina ho ma kwasi broni enna dawo enti enkomotwetwe a ye twetwe ye no aha sei ena ye di esi meda wase se wo jebre na wo share jumedie no. Your Excellency, thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Yeah.
Enti ene na aha sei ne de enkomotwetwe ne esi se de medi kan e kan ye no ye da se bebre se wo jebre na wo share jumedie. Medinde abena chei boache Accra.